Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike. Sharanya Trambake Devi Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namaste Se, Namaste Se, Namaste Se, Namo Namaha. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche Swaha. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanuman Ji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 9th of February 2026. I want to offer my prostrations, Anandakoti Namaskara, Danvat Pranam, which are prostrations and obeisances, as well as infinite divine flowers at the feet of all the great sages throughout the world today, in the past, in the future, yet to come, and to the one supreme ultimate reality, ultimate truth, Param Tattva Bhagavat Tattva, God, residing in the heart of every being at all times and all places. We are continuing today to further dive into 4.3.23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, where the word apavruta is used in this verse. I'm just going to pick it up from yesterday. So I hope those who are following along are going in sequence. If you're not doing so, it's all right. It doesn't matter too much. But it's recommended to start this sequence right from the first recording in January, which is, I think, the first 2 weeks were like background preparation for the Srimad Bhagavatam RAS Panchadhayyi. So we're still on the very first verse only. And to expand on that first verse of the 29th chapter, we've been looking at the 5 ratis. In the first rati, that is Śānta-Rati, and to understand that Śānta-Rati, we have gone into Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23. It's kind of one thing opens into another. But that's the way it goes. That's how we can learn. That's how we can grow. All right, so having said all that, this is very interesting. We can ask the question, what is this covering and lack of covering, the removal of the covering, apavruta? So the word apavruta, as we looked at that yesterday, it means that the subtle body is called Shukshma Sharir, is no longer creating an obstruction for the Atma Tattva, the Atma Chaitanya. Because the cover is called avarana in Sanskrit, A with a line on top, A-V-A-R-A-N-A, avarana. Avarana means cover, blockage. Right? So apavruta means uncovered, uncovering, unblocking. Very interesting. Let's look at some examples about this in our day-to-day existence. When we are having an experience of attraction towards anything, any kind of attraction. Let's look at that as an example, because this is our experience in life. We see some flowers, we see trees, we see beautiful homes, we see the opposite sex, we see a lot of, the big lottery boards, $100 million lottery or $1 billion lottery or whatever it is, right? The attraction, any kind of attraction, is an experience, first of all. Yes. There's repulsion also. So that repulsion is, I don't like this is not good. The likes and dislikes. So there's a response in the brain mind for attraction, and there's a response for repulsion. And it's on a continuum. Right? It's a continuum. Attraction to repulsion, continuation, continuum. Now, having said that, is this continuum of attraction to repulsion, is that entire continuum a type of cover? Is that covering the reality of the spiritual dimension, of the soul, of the Atman, of God? Is it covering that? See the question carefully. I hope the question is clear. All of our lives, most human beings, they are in this pendulum, in this continuum of attraction to repulsion. The whole sansar is like that. The entire life is like this. And it just goes on. And it just goes on. And then people are trying to maximize the enjoyments that come from getting those objects, experiences that are coming from our attractions. The attraction is there to experience the objects of the senses. And then to pursue that again and again and again. And that's life. And if someone wants to live life that way, that is up to them. A life of Rajas, R-A-J-A-S, Rajogun, to keep going from day to day to day, from one thing to another, to try to maximize sukha, which is pleasures and happiness, through the attractive process. And then that's the goal. Then there's no question of Atman or God realization. Even many people who are just doing this hedonistic attitude, as I mentioned before, there's that philosophy also. There's no Atman, God. This is all mind-made stuff, meaningless. Well, okay, if you believe that, then it becomes hedonism. And it also, I mean, if we can keep it within a certain limit without harming yourself or somebody else, then that's up to you. But there's a limitation there. So that cannot take you anywhere further other than simply in that range. But those who are interested, those who would like to realize pure consciousness, higher consciousness, to realize the Chaitanyam, the Atman and Bhagavan, and to move into that domain, that dimension of unbroken joy, Akhanda Ananda, if that is our goal, then all of this daily satsang material that we're talking about, it becomes relevant. It becomes very, very relevant. And is it possible to actually be in such a state? Yes, but it happens over time. Right? So the avarana is a covering. All kinds of coverings are there. All kinds of coverings are inside of us. And those coverings just go on. I mean, they basically continue from day to day, day to day. Attachments of all kinds, entanglements of all kinds. This are things we've talked about before. It goes on. And the mechanism of the distortion is the egoic filter. The ahankar labels every incoming data point as mine, not mine, good for me, bad for me. It has to do with me and mine. Continuously that is going on. And most people live that way and die that way. That's all. They don't know anything other than that. Right? So the egoic filter is very, very carefully purified. It changes its direction. This is difficult to explain and very hard to understand also, I think, for anybody. Because ego is not some physical object. It's our very subtle phenomena, subtle reality inside. And it changes the direction. It changes the direction into the reservoir of unobstructed Shakti. This much anybody can understand. Because even if those people who don't believe in God, don't believe in Atman, don't believe in anything, they cannot deny energy. Nobody can deny energy, which is Shakti. And nobody can deny, as far as my understanding goes, Sachin's understanding goes, that there is contraction and expansion of Shakti. There is destruction of energy. There is expansion of energy. There is loss of energy. There's cultivation of energy. Things that we talk about in our Angel Wing program. Who can deny that? I'd like to find anybody. I mean, how can anybody deny it? Now, you may debate about what is Shakti, where it comes from, what it is. Yeah, that's a matter of research, debate, contemplation, realization. so much is involved in trying to touch what exactly is Shakti. I mean, is it something that we really cannot even describe? It's described in terms of its motion, in terms of what it can do. Energy it takes different forms. I mean, even Einstein said E equals mc squared, right? That mass and energy are equal. I mean, so whatever energy may be, we have an intuitive, experiential understanding of it. And we know when it is damaged. We feel low energy, we feel high energy, we feel all different kinds of experiences, thoughts and emotions, all kinds of experiences, or egoic experiences. Everything has energy. Ahankar has energy. Mind has energy. Antakarana has energy. Physical body has energy. Subtle body has energy. The sun has energy. The cosmos has energy. What is there without energy? We know that there's energy. And we have a internal sense of the movement of energy inside. So when the ahankar changes its direction, when the ahankar changes its direction from what? From what to what? From the me and mine and good for me and that, it's all centered around the me. It changes its direction that this me is the Atman. And this me is at the feet of God. The psychological me is at the feet of God. The spiritual, the same psychological me is retuned into the Brahma Tattva, Atma Tattva. I hope these 2 points are clear. Because these 2 points are the doorway into Śānta-Rati. They're absolutely the fantastic doorway into that majesty of God. Yes. It is so wonderful because one is able to see the tattva. Tattva meaning the spiritual reality itself. The Atma Tattva, Chaitanya Tattva means substance, but it's not a physical substance. So there is the realization, anubhav, of the Atma Chaitanya. मैं कौन हूँ, मुझको ही अनुभव होता है. Who am I begin to experience. Bhagavad Gita's great number of verses in the Gita are about this. They're about retuning the mental frequency into the Atma Chaitanya Tattva itself. And then there is the Anubhav. Anubhav meaning direct first person realization that I am this. I am this Tattva. I am this Chaitanyam. That realization begins with Atma Darshan. Atma Darshan. Darshan means vision. It's not a physical vision. It is an internal vision of the self, of itself only. Of the Atman, of its own nature. That is called Swa Swarup. Swa Anubhav. Swam. Shankaracharya ji uses this word. We looked at it some years back. Generally, what do we think? I am this physical body. This is generally what we think. But the physical body, we are that. We cannot say we're not. But we are not just that. And also the physical body, we can say we are that when the Jivatma is in the Anvay Swarup. Vyapak. It is one. It is functioning in the state of oneness. The Atma Chaitanyam that is called Jiv is called Jiv, Jiva or Jivatma, when it is functioning as one with the physical body. I can say, I am this body. If I say that, I am Sachin. That is the Jivatma identified with the cover. It's like let's say you have a gold, 24 karat pure gold biscuit. And it is covered with a thin, very thin layer of a saran wrap, some kind of a wrapping, plastic wrap, plastic wrap. So the gold forgets that what it is. It says, I'm that wrapping. So the physical body and the subtle body is the wrapping, and the causal body. All three are the wrapping around the Jivatma. Once the wrapping is left aside, not destroyed, but it is realized that that's not me. The physical body is an experience that I am having. I meaning the Atma Chaitanya. It's an experience, Anubhav. So this is all Atma Gnan. Physical body, subtle body, causal body. What is Karana Sharir, by the way? Very difficult to probe into that, but we can simply say that that is the cause, Karan meaning the cause of rebirth. It is a storehouse of countless lifetimes of sanskaras, all jam-packed together. And that is the block of Mahamaya. That has to be destroyed completely. And once that is gone, but how is that destroyed? I mean, once that is gone, you realize who you are and God. But how is that destroyed? That is destroyed by Shakti. That Shakti is Divya Shakti. That Shakti is Bhakti. That Shakti is saintliness. That Shakti is Dhyan. Quite a few number of Vachanamrita are about that also. Loya number 12. We'll look at the language some other time when we talk about causal body, maybe in more detail. But the destruction of the causal body is the revelation of the Chaitanyam. That is always there. It's just revelation. It's not something new that's going to come. It's already there. That's who you are. We are always Atma Tattva, Brahma Tattva, Chaitanya Tattva. But this obstruction, this covering, this layering needs to be de-identified with. Now the process of de-identification is why this body and senses and everything are given. That yes, it's there. Body is there, mind is there, emotions are there, feelings are there, desires are there. Everything has its place. But to be free, completely free, in the navigation of our life experiences, internal and external, that freedom is what uncovers. That freedom is the uncovering of all of these blockages and layers. That is apavruta. So, when we connect our internal mechanism of the mind with our Ishta Devata particularly, and all forms of God. God is only one. It's not two. So bhakti continues. And then upasana, in one swarup, there's more concentration in one form. And mantra, stotra, shastra, we talked about it before. When that happens, there is strength developed. Spiritual strength, or quote spiritual, it's more mental strength. But it's strength, it is Shakti, that is the Kundalini Shakti, is beginning then to open through the chakras, the Shushmana Nadi. There's Ida, Pingla, Shushmana Nadi. 3 nadis are there. So the internal power begins to grow and develop. It begins to open. And as it begins to open, our potentiality, it begins to be realized that there's so much potentiality within us. Now it begins to open, and then we can use that Shakti for seva, for bhakti. We can use it for so many different ways. But not only that, I mean, that's certainly there. But that same power that awakens, which is the awakening of the internal guru, as I mentioned yesterday, I won't mention those points again today. So if you haven't heard yesterday's recording, please do listen to that. But it's the internal guru that opens up. And when that opens up, actually, the causal body gets obliterated. Karan Sharir Ka Nash. Loya number 12, maybe it's Karyani number 12. I have one of those two numbers. I think it's Karyani 12 maybe. These are small villages, that Shriji Maharaj spoke all this in. Karan Sharir is not something even psychology knows. Nobody in psychology knows what is causal body. Because at the most they're trying to find out what is mind, and even they don't know what that is also. It's very, very difficult. Brain, mind, usme sab stuck ho gaye. Causal body is realized by the rishis, who probed all the way inside in the depth of meditation, and they saw that there is this subtle body, and beyond that there is this storehouse of millions of lifetimes of experience, and beyond that is the Atma Chaitanyam. So they realize that when they put all their energies together and focus it on God, place it on the divine, this is the yogic realization from inside. Then the Atma Chaitanya revealed. That's where the Upanishads came from. The rishis didn't have science laboratories and mixing chemicals and all those things. They're sitting in dhyan. Wo dhyan mein baithe hai. They're sitting in the mountains and in caves and in the different meditations, natural places for years and years and years. And the download is happening from the Veda mantras. And then the whole tradition comes from there. That's where the Upanishad comes from. Then the Guru Parampara begins from there. Right? So this is all experimentation, but it's also apaurushaya. It is krupa. Of the Bhagavad Krupa is in the mind of the rishi. That is why all the mantras have different rishis. Right? So that's another whole subject. I won't go into that here. But the point is that all of those mantras that are in the Veda mantras, and then of course the Puranic Shlokas are there. The tradition that has come, tradition is there, but it is a matter of realization. It is a matter of realization that the Atma Chaitanya is real. That we could be sitting in one place, at home or in the park or somewhere. It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter. The avastha we are in is called waking state, Jagrat avastha. So around the Atma Chaitanya, the body is revolving. Body, mind, senses, everything is revolving around the Atma Chaitanya. And the world outside, that we consider to be the world outside, is also revolving around the Atma. I mentioned this before, maybe some of you may not have heard this. I'll mention it again. Right now I'm sitting in a chair in my home, in the home mandir here. Let's say I stand up and go for a walk for a half a mile from point A to point B. Did the Atma go from point A to point B? That's not what happened. The Atma doesn't go anywhere. Atma is never born, never created, never destroyed. It is in a different dimension completely. It is the Chaitanyam. It is not going anywhere, or going or coming or getting old or getting burnt or dying or born, or nothing like that is happening. So what happens when I'm sitting here now, I get up and I go from point A, where I am now, to point B, half mile away from now. Did the Atma go from here to there? No. That's not what happened. Actually what happened, because of Gnan Shakti, Ichha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, and all the different powers of Bhagavan, for the Jivatma, so many powers of Paramatma, for this Jivatma, in reality, the entire body, mind, senses, and the entire universe has revolved around me to give me the experience I'm going from here to there. Actually, we have not gone anywhere. You could take a spaceship and go from here to the Andromeda galaxy, and you think, I'm going from here to there. In the material world, that's the experience in the material world, but not for the Atma. That's why the rishis didn't have to go anywhere. They're sitting in one place and they can see everything revolving around them. There's no coming or going. ये आने जाने का कुछ चक्कर ही नहीं रहता. In the highest realization. Even जो भगवान के धाम है, गोलोक वैकुंठ आदि धाम, वो भी सब हमारे में ही है. It's inside. सारंगपुर number 10, वचनामृत. अंतर्दृष्टि थी भगवान नु धाम, अणु मात्र छेटे न थे. It's right, you're right there, in fact. But we don't realize because of all these blockages. And also because of ignorance. This is a very profound thing, right? Because before we understand RAS LEELA, go into the RAS LEELA, Bhagwan ke saath jo prem, that kind of, that madhurya rasa and all that, this is the background to even tap into any of that. Itni sthiti honi chahiye, itni sthiti, this is realization, intense realization. Like for example, when we are sleeping at nighttime, when we lie down at nighttime, the body is in one place generally, maybe moving a little bit here and there. Whole dream world opens up. Did we go anywhere? We feel, no, I think I'm the body, I'm staying in one place. But when you're in that different frame of mind, Swapna Avastha, dream state, you don't realize it, and that we consider that to be the reality, a new dimension, a new reality, a new layer of existence. Isn't it so? Similarly, this entire waking state is like a Swapna Avastha, but it's not exactly like that. It's a different kind of, it's more stable, and we interact with others also in that common dream kind of. There's an intersection of dreams. That's what it is. But to awaken in the waking state, that is Jivan Mukta. That is a liberated soul. And that soul's ego, ahankar, is not trapped in the bondages of the waking state, dream or deep sleep state. And that state of unbinding is the foundation to even begin to touch the RAS LEELA. Otherwise, there's no chance of even ever entering into the RAS LEELA until this is realized. How can it be realized? Because the RAS LEELA is where Bhagavan, Krishna and the gopis, you are playing with God. How is that even possible? And as long as we're stuck in these material projections, it's not possible. It doesn't happen. Yeah, people sing songs and do dances and garba dances and dandiya dances, and all that's sab theek hai. That's all just more entertainment more than anything else. The way it is these days. It's not supposed to be like that, but it become that way. And simply because this background wisdom is not there of who I am, what am I trying to do, how should I live my life, how do I tune myself into that Swarupa Paramatma. Wo kuch gyan nahi hai, this understanding is not there. Even if the understanding is there in some few, the actual implementation is not there. Then there's no chance of realizing RAS LEELA. Kuch nahi hoga. Only rebirth only. That's the only thing that would happen. Right? But if there is real awakening to say, no, this ahankar, let's change its direction. This is our sadhana for today. Our practice for today. What is ahankar for me? I'm getting pulled by attractions, repulsions. I want this and I want this and I want this. I'm jumping like a monkey. No. There's no need to jump like a monkey. Become a lion of the jungle. It's a transition from monkey to lion. Isn't it something interesting? Think about it. The lion is the king of the jungle, isn't it? Or the queen, if you want to say, the lioness. There's not a single animal that can stand next to the lions. Lion is the topmost. So who are we? Are we a frightened animal, or are we the king of the jungle? That's the only real question. So to be the king of the jungle is not ego. It is to take the ego and turn it in towards the Atman, towards Paramatma. And that turning is where you take all the Shakti inside. Gnan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti, all of it. And that turning towards Paramatma, towards the Atma. Atma and Paramatma are both inside and outside. Outside is, there's really nothing outside in one sense. Whatever is outside is a projection only. So that's not the reality. It's like a 3D projection, this outside world. It's real relatively, but it's not actually real. You see, so when you are when the ahankar is turned towards the Atma, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, he mentioned this in Vedras many times. Jagrat avastama ghor shushupti varte. You're awake, but as if you're in Shushupti Avastha. You're not pulled by anything. You're experiencing everything. Mind is not at all torn apart. Not at all. Shakti is not torn apart at all. Activity is going on, but it's very steady, very still, very beautifully integrated. There's no damage to internal energy. There's no damage to the outside world. Because the outside world, from that point of view, it's just a projection. This is pure Vedanta. It's a projection, so it's not real actually. It's real relatively when I consider this body is me, then the outside world is real. When I consider and realize the Atma Chaitanya, that the body can go and come and go, so many bodies have come and gone, experienced by me, the world is an illusory dream. It's a superimposition, as Śānta-Rati ji has stated. I actually have created, I think last year sometime, it's an 816-page volume on Advaita Vedanta. Technical. If you want a PDF, I'll send it to you. If you're interested in really doing some study on this. I'm putting it in short language here. This sthiti ki baat hai. For most human beings are nowhere near that kind of realization. But if we awaken into the Atma, or the Atma awakens completely, the whole waking state is illusory. It's there, but it's not there. And when that realization is present, when that Atma Chaitanya, that Atmic Brahma Bhav is present, that is necessary, that is a prerequisite for Ras Leela. Otherwise there cannot be any Ras Leela. You can keep jumping around and singing as many bhajans as you want. You wind up spinning and drowning back into the same Ajnan again. It cannot take you anywhere. The bhajans are good. They will create sanskars. It will take thousands of lifetimes. Who knows how much time it will. Because we have not changed the direction of the ego. Not only changing the direction, it's actually giving the ego at the feet of God. It's called Atma Samarpan. Ahankar is completely immersed inside Bhagavat Tattva. That you are mine. And the Atma Chaitanya, that is me. So Ahankar is tuned in both ways. Then God is not just an idea. See, this is the problem, right? Bhagavan, at one level psychologically, it's an idea. So that idea of God is a barrier. And that barrier, which is the idea of Paramatma, is preventing the darshan of Paramatma. I hope you can follow this point. The idea of God is not God. Is not the actual reality. So the ideation is unnecessary. We have to get out of that ideation mode into, as we mentioned it before, that intense Shraddha, that murti that we see, the scriptures that we read, the mantras that we have, that is all Paramatma. That Shraddha has to be there first. And to ask that Parabrahma Tattva for revelation. Otherwise our mind will be stuck in ideas. That's why there's so many conflicts in religious communities. Because everybody is stuck in their ideations. Anubhav nahi hai kisi ko. Bahut kam logon ko. Those who have anubhav, experience, realization, they don't debate with anybody. Debate with who? What? You're drinking the bliss of God. You're not debating with anyone. These debates have no meaning at all. It's called Shastrarth. They're just egoic reactions. I'm this perspective, that perspective, that perspective. Anubhav kijiye. Then if you want to talk about the Anubhav, that's what the Acharyas actually did. Then they gave their interpretations. Based on Anubhav, not because of some kind of ego-driven foolishness. No. Not because of that. So the idea of Paramatma is not Paramatma. That is a mental construct. That's a barrier. That's a wall. It's a barrier. That is why Vishuddha Sattva, that the mind that is absolutely purified through Shraddha, that even we see Murti of Sri Krishna, Murti of Shri Ram, Shri Hanuman Ji, kisi ki bhi Murti, that when we have, it's not that we're seeing, watch the language. When we go into a mandir, we're doing darshan. What does that word mean? That's the word we use, right? If I was to ask some friends, did you go to the mandir today? They say yes. So that I could say, how was the darshan today? Did you do darshan? We use this word darshan kiya, darshan. That's the word. But what does that word darshan mean? Darshan means to see, to feel, to see the experience, anubhav of the tattva itself, to see the tattva that is there. This is Śānta-Rati. Not simply just some beautiful form that we see, okay, Bhagwan is some... See, that's a mental game only. Most people going to temples are just playing a mental, psychological game going nowhere. They get some sanskar and that's the end of it. And they wind up point to zero again, for lower even sometimes, because of rag, dvesh, klesh, me, mine, this, that, ritualism. Ritualism is a big problem. And not only that, you also have fear. If I don't do this on this day, if I don't do this on that day, all days are divine. Throw all that garbage out completely. Take it, all that mental concocted nonsense, and flush it out. Every single moment is divine. There's no day that is not divine. There's no moment that is not divine. There is no moment that is not where Bhagwan doesn't exist. So all these foolish things that have come into Sanatana Dharma, they have to be taken and completely eliminated. And this is called Soham, Shivoham, Ayam Atma Brahma, Maha Mantra Lena. And stay with that tremendous tenacity. How can we say even one moment is impure or God is not present? We are creating our own damages and then we're trying to get out of them. So much fear-driven religion, complete nonsense. It has to be completely eliminated from inside. And until we do that, so many people are trapped in these fears. On this day, this will happen. On this day, that. Yeah, there are some certain days that are very special for cosmic reasons, for doing sadhana. But that's a very low level. That's a very low level. The reality, if you were to ask Shankaracharya ji, is there even a single moment that is not divine? It's every moment is divine. That is our goal. There's not a single moment in life that is where the Atma doesn't exist. There's not a single moment or single place where Paramatma doesn't exist. He exists everywhere. Look at in the Bhagavatam itself, Prahlad ji, Bhakta Prahlad. His father is trying to hurt him and kill him and all that, but God protects him all the time. And then he asks, where is your Vishnu? Is your Vishnu inside this pole? He said, of course. And then Narsimha avatar comes and then, you see, what does that show? Look at the devotion. Prahlad did not lose sight of Bhagavan Vishnu for 1 second. He even saw Vishnu Bhagavan in his father. And when we reach that stage of devotion, every moment is divine. All of these fears and this day is not a good day and this day you shouldn't travel, and take all that total nonsense and throw it away. Bhagwan ki mala lena, ashray lena Bhagwan ka. Who is going to touch you? Impossible. And you want protection. Devi is there to protect. Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundai Viche. Protection, that's all. You don't need any other mantra. Other mantras also will protect. Mantra to hai, but we have to be mindful. When Shraddha is intense, automatically everything falls into place. Shraddha Gumani nahi. It's a matter of Shraddha. It's a matter of intense realization and faith that Bhagwan is with me, that I am Chaitanyam. This body, this world, this sansar, it is a projection. It's there one day, it's gone the next. That's all it is. It is a projection, and that there's technical language in Vedanta for that projection. But it's very, even though it's a projection from a Vedanta point of view, there's experiences there of sukh, dukh, rag, dvesh. So we want our experiences to not be problematic. That is why we do Namah Shivaya mantra. So the experience in the projection is not going to cause problems for us, and then we can evolve out of the projection and realize the Atma Chaitanya. When we realize the Atma Chaitanya, the entire Brahmand is a dream. All 14 lokas. Shankaracharya ji himself has stated this in Vivek Chudamani, that up to Brahmalok, the topmost heavenly region in the Brahmand, there's Vairagya all the way up to that point. And beyond that is the Vaikuntha Dham. This is a real, original Sanatan Dharma ka Brahma Vidya is this. It has nothing to do with fear, it has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that God is present everywhere. You could go anywhere. Where is He not? Where is He not? It will remove completely this notion that a particular time is a good time, particular time is a bad time, particular time. Yeah, time has its dimension, but if we are awakened, none of that affects. People are, they're afraid of these stars. This star is this way, this star. Take that thing and throw that away also. Completely throw that away. If you don't throw that away, the fear never goes. You have to throw that away, respect all the stars. They're not going to hurt anybody. Bhagwan ka simple ashray karna. People are looking at their janmakshara, wearing these rings and diamonds and whatever they're doing, all fear-based nonsense. Take that thing and throw it away. Completely keep ashray only on Paramatma. Is there even one verse in the Gita that says put all these rings on? Have this fear-based religion? That your destiny is already written? Yeah, maybe there's a Jyotish Shastra, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever, maybe there's people who know about that. So what? Why do you need to know about that? Make your own life with tremendous self-confidence and tenacity. Bhagwan ka ashram, make it dharmic, make it pure, make it wonderful. The destiny will take care of itself. This fear-based nonsense has to be eliminated. Completely eliminated. And until it is not eliminated, there is no chance of realizing the Atman or Paramatma. But don't misunderstand. There is a science, Jyotish Shastra, other things, planetary science, but that is all underneath. There are some people who are trained in real understanding that. There is that. But you can't be afraid of those things. We have made mistakes in our life. And then we have to suffer the consequences. We're saying the stars are this way, blaming the stars, blaming this. In Vedas, Vedas mein Bhagwan Swaminarayan, he said this thing. He told his Paramahansas that these Navgrahas are not the cause of anybody's problem. Your own mind is the cause of your own problem, and nothing else. And great yogis and great sadhakas and great enlightened people from Upanishadic time, Vedic time till today, this is the conclusion. These Navgrahas do not affect anybody at all. To that concept, throw it away. Respect the Navgrahas, unki puja karna, archana karna, prem karna, wo Bhagwan Shiv ke sab swarup hai. Why should they hurt you? Why should any planetary system or some devata be against this? Kitna nonsense baate hai sab. We are against ourselves. And that is causing the energies inside to turn in crazy ways. And those devatas are energy centers inside of us that are then rotating in different ways. That's what they are. So this fear has to be gone. Abhayam sattva sanshuddhi. Bhagwan kehte hai Gita ji mein. Throw it out and completely dive into bhakti. Navgraha ka adar karna, respect karna. Every graha is with me. Every graha is for me. Not only that, when a bhakta reaches heightened bhakti, all the devatas come with hands folded like this. They're standing with hands folded in front of the enlightened saints. Lakshmi ji mara santani dasir. Lakshmi ji swayam वो बड़े बड़े संतों के पास जाती है कि आपकी क्या आज्ञा है महाराज. This is adhyatma, not this fear-based nonsense, which then is used to control people, to control society, to control the minds of others, to induce fear for selfish reasons. That's not spirituality. That is not Sanatan Dharma. Show even one verse inside the Bhagavad Gita where all this nonsense is shown. Nothing of that is shown there. Not one verse is like that. Take it and throw it away completely. All this, people are sometimes wearing God knows how many strings they're wearing. This string and that string and this locket and this thing, and the whole body is filled with all this. They take all that thing and throw it in the river. Bhagwan ki ek mala rakhna. That's it. And if you're depending on your tradition, put the tripunda on, put vibhuti on, or put kanthi on. ठीक है, आपकी जैसी श्रद्धा, but not out of fear, out of bhakti. Do not do any spiritual practice out of fear. None. भगवान के साथ fear रखना? Actually, the beauty of bhakti is that, hey Prabhu, I am 100% yours, the way I am. That's all. इसमें परम शक्ति है, परम fearless है. और क्या होना भी क्या है जीवन में? At the most, what will happen? You know, in हमारे जो गुरुजी थे, पूज्य प्रमुख स्वामी जी महाराज in BAPS, BAPS. I have heard him say many times, વધારે શું થશે? દેહ પડી જશે. તેમાં શું મોટી વાત? At the most, what will happen? This body will go. This body is going to go anyway. So what? What is there to be afraid of? Who is there to be afraid of? This is the point. And the way to get out of that fear dimension, mantra. भगवान का एक मंत्र लेना, नमः शिवाय लेना, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, हरे कृष्ण मंत्र लेना, स्वामी नारायण मंत्र लेना, आपका जो इच्छा है, और मंत्र में डूब जाना. Don't worry about anything else. भगवान के, take one bhajan, take one dhun, listen to it for 8 hours. You don't need anything else. Put it on repeat, on loop. Becomes a mantra, becomes Bhagwan Swayam aa jate. One bhajan is enough to realize God. One mantra is enough to realize Paramatma. Fear has to go. Don't be afraid. Bhakti bahut karna. Sthirta rakhna. Maintain. I'm telling myself all this. I'm not telling anybody all this thing. But this is the truth. This is the reality. Kitna bhai. Because we have made mistakes. Uddhareda atmanatmanam natmanam avasadit. If we have made a mistake, don't be guilty about that. Learn from it. When a mistake is made, if we learn from it, it is not a mistake at all. And if we don't learn from it, we keep repeating the mistake, then we start running here and there because the pain is so much. Prakriti has its rules. We have to stay within those rules of Prakriti. Do not hurt anybody else. Do not hurt yourself. Drop negativity. Increase bhakti. See what's going on relatively in the world. Find out what the next right steps are. और हिम्मत रखना. शूरवीर वचनामृत में लिखा है, लोया number 2 वचनामृत. शूरवीर भक्ति. Shurveer means one who is courageous. Bhakti requires courage. And then God will take care of you. You don't think that is Shraddha. Bhagwan की कृपा होती है, that you are coming to me, I'll take care of everything. Mama maya duratya mam eva ye prapadyante maya metam taranti. It's very clear. And do devotees go through difficulties? Every devotee goes through difficulties. It's okay. And yes, there's no doubt there are things that can be done to help. No doubt about that. But this fear-based nonsense is really out of the picture. You don't want to be under that all the time. Looking for some solution from this thing, from that thing, from this thing, from that thing. It doesn't work like that. Prarthana karna. Ambi, in the home, some of you have come here, we do prarthana. Mataji ki prarthana, Shivji ki prarthana. We have Shivratri coming up. We'll be doing all 14 hours straight puja plus havan plus abhishek, everything. It'll go straight 14 hours. Sadhana karna, bhakti ka, prem karna, Bhagwan ke saath. It's a love affair. That's what Madhurya Ras is all about. Then where's the issue of any fear or anything like that? And remove, hamari prarthana bahut hai. Remove from the mind that any particular day, particular time is unholy. It's not true. Every moment is divine. Likh dena in bold akshar that my life is 100% divine. Every moment is a blessing. Everything is a blessing. And God is with me continuously. આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કે એક વાળ વાંકો ના થાય. You understand the meaning that even one strand of hair cannot be twisted by anybody. When you have this realization and understanding, then all the devatas, all the grahas, they line up for seva. They're not going to affect anybody, and nothing negative can come. Impossible. In fact, on the contrary, such a bhakta, wherever such a devotee goes, blessing is there. In a pagma chalnara Bhagwan, in a netrama jonara Bhagwan. There's a beautiful poem. I'll have to find it for you, and we can play it sometime. This is Adhyatma. Real Adhyatma is this. Not because of Sachin. It is what is there. If you really go into it, you'll see All this is what it is. Prem rakhna. And if there are difficulties in life, increase sadhana. Don't get bogged down. This issue is there. This fear. Fear is what destroys Shakti. Abhayam, Bhagwan kehte in chapter 16, this is the first divine quality, fearlessness. Bhagwan Krishna, whatever Sachin is saying, it's just an interpretation of Gita. That's all it is. It's just an exposition. Vitaraga bhaya krodha sita dhirmunir uchyate. Vitrag means the rag, attractions, repulsions, all that continuum. Bhay, fear and anger. Stita dhirmunir uchyate. Sthirata. Steadiness. This is Śānta-Rati. You see how this exposition goes. Śānta-Rati kitni adbhut baat hai. How tremendous it is to realize that. And once we are in that, then that will automatically be included into Madhurya Rati when we get to that. This is how inner strength grows. Antarik Shakti, antar ka bal. In Gujarati we say antar nu bal. Manobal, mansik bal. Iski vruddhi hoti. It increases a lot. Tremendously it increases. And when we are really, genuinely, through Param Shraddha at the feet of Narayana, at the feet of our Ishtadevata, nothing can touch us. And whatever is happening in my life is happening by His will, or by the divine will. Devi ki ichha, Bhagwan ki ichha. Forget the law of karma. Take that thing and throw it away. People are so concerned. Next life, this will happen later on. It's sab bhul jao. Forget this nonsense. You don't have to worry about what happened in the past. Keep attention on now and complete connection with Paramatma. Bhagwan ki ichha yehi mera prarabdha hai. The law of karma doesn't apply at all. When you bring God, when you're connected with Paramatma, Bhagwan is greater than the law of karma. But the law of karma and all endless problems will continue when we are disconnected. Then our own mind will keep spinning in 1,000 ways, in rag, dvesh, klesh, in the dualities, and be drowned inside the sansar. This is adhyatma. Jisko samajhna hai, wo samajh sakte. If you go through real scriptures, original shastra, ye milega. Not any fear-based religion. Never. Fear-based religion is not religion. It is a way of controlling the minds of masses of people out of fear. Fear doesn't belong in the dimension of spirituality at all. Not at all. Bhakti belongs, not fear. Abhayam sattva sanchuddhi and vitaraga bhaya krodha. Many verses are there in the Gita. Many verses are there. And it's not just verses, it's actually inside of us. This is the strength of bhakti. Of course, we do our duties. We keep everything relative in mind. But Bhagwan ke mandir mein jate, prem karne ka, it's a go for love. If problems and issues are there, you ask Paramatma Bhagwan to remove it. He'll take care of it. You don't let go of the bhakti. You take care of everything. And that is how this peace inside, Shanta bhav, और भगवान का दिव्य अनुभव इसमें होता है. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry. There are always an endless number of problems in life. Increase sadhana, not worry. Worry, tension, and fear drain Shakti. So that same Shakti can be used in sadhana. Learn to let go. That your will, thy will be done. Aapki ichha se sab ho raha hai. Yes, I may have my own desires and deficiencies or whatever. Hey Prabhu, I'm aware of them, but I'm yours. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And that is the power of bhakti, of sharanagati, of taking the shelter of Paramatma as a small child. And then each day evolves. Because the strength of mantra is there. Namah Shivaya mantra, Bhagwan ka jo bhi mantra aapko priya hai, go into it. If you look right now in modern times, Premanandji Maharaj, who is in Vrindavan, continuously he's telling people do mantra. Bhagwan ka naam ka ashray lena. I have never heard him say any fear-based statement at all. Bhagwan ka ashray lena, Bhagwan ki nishta rakhna, jivan acha banana. Look at his teachings. He's one of the topmost saints in the world today. Sitting in one place, he's fully awakened, fully enlightened, filled with only love. You hear any one word even from him about this fear-based religion? Never. Because उनको अनुभव है, उनको साक्षात्कार है भगवान का, और वो क्या सिखाते हैं, how he's living. Look at the love that is brimming inside of him. He's sitting in one place in Vrindavan, in one ashram somewhere. He's sitting there. Millions of people's lives have been transformed because there's the fully awakened being is sitting in one place. This is the power of Sri Krishna. Unki bhakti, power of Sri Radha Ji, Guru Parampara. Never be afraid of anything. Never worry about anything. Take the right steps. जो धर्म कर रहा है, so goes back to Shikshapatri. Shriji Maharaj is saying, the dharma that has to be done, do that right away. Don't delay. And anything that is adharma, that is against the right actions, do not do that immediately. Do not do that at all. We do the opposite. Things that we shouldn't be doing, we do that right away. These are things to keep in mind. This is Sachin just sharing from what is inside of me with the world. Bhagwan ki jaisi marji. Aap manan kijiye is point par. Let's stop here for now. It's already 9:30. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Vameyasya Sita Radha Shri Shayasya Sivakshasi Vrindavana Viharam Tam Sri Krishnam Rudichinte. Om Rim Svaha.